right now. Today is the day that you choose to change the rest of your life. It is time to turn your setback into the greatest comeback story ever told, and nobody is more capable than you. Friday! This is the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast, the future #1 weight loss podcast in the world. I am your host, Donato Russo. I hope you enjoy the show today. If this is your first time here and you enjoy the show, please subscribe and spread the word of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast wherever you are and to whomever will listen. If you'd like to connect on social media or wherever else, check out my Linktree page, Linktree/the Ranting Weight Watcher. Let's connect today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 193 of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast. This is part 3 of the Redemption series. If this is your first time here, I want to welcome you to the show. If you enjoy it, please consider subscribing. If the app that you're using to listen to the show allows you to write a review or rate the show, please consider writing a review and leaving a 4-star or 5-star rating. Doing this will promote the podcast growth by updating an algorithm, which in turn will make it easier for anyone else looking for a weight loss or related podcast that is using the same app as you. One of the best things you could do to support this podcast is to literally tell anyone you know that is in the same position we are all in, trying to live a healthy life. Tell them about the show. Show them how to find it. I want to give a special thanks to all of the financial supporters of the podcast. Thank you so much for considering the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast a worthy investment of your hard-earned money. If you are interested in becoming a financial supporter of this podcast, there is a Linktree link in the description of every podcast episode. When you click it, you will be taken to a website where you will see a button that says Become a Financial Supporter. Click that button and you will be given the options available so that you can choose from there. Well, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the recording session of episode 3 of the Redemption series. How is everybody doing?
Doing great.
Great.
Awesome. Good.
Well.
Can you believe we're 3 months into this journey together?
Wow.
No.
No. Very
No,
cool.
I can't believe it.
Hey, what do you? Any of you guys have anything you want to say about the last 3 months?
This is Jane, and I would say that I have excelled more than I have in probably 5 years in just this short amount of time. I think the group really helped me be committed, and overall things kind of just came to fruition, and I'm very happy with the way I'm doing. So thank you.
Yeah, this is Anne Marie, and it has been a game changer for me because for a long time kept giving myself grace, thinking, well, I'm trying, but trying isn't doing. And this has really been a game changer for me, and the results have proven it.
Go ahead, Jackie.
I am. I really just feel like with the help of this group, I finally got my head on straight and made the progress that I've been not making for so long. So yeah, this group is definitely helping me.
Go ahead, Loretta.
I went back to my mission statement because I was struggling, not being as consistent as I would like. And I could tell that I had already, when I was writing a couple things over, I could tell that my mind had already shifted. That, I said something about my legs, like how they looked in my first mission statement. But this time I said, my legs are going to be strong. It wasn't about how they look. It was my legs were going to be strong. So that was a great aha for me. Yeah.
Love it. Go ahead,
Thanks.
Kathy.
I think with this group, it has helped me to highlight the fact that there's no perfect time in this journey. Like when I started, everything was just status quo. Nothing was changing. And then all of a sudden, there's this whirlwind of changes in my personal life, from job to the location of where I was living, that I'm grateful, because had I not been a part of this group, my entire weight loss journey would have done a 360, and I probably would have gained 60, 70, 80 pounds back, just because eating would have been how I would have coped with all of the changes that were beyond my control. And this group has helped me to just stay status quo. I've not gained a bunch of weight back, but I've been able to level the playing field a little bit, if that makes sense. And just to know that eating isn't going to solve my problems, and to stay focused on the things that I can control and to manage and just stay focused.
It's awesome. Taffy, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't say enough about the group, even though I feel like I haven't participated as much. Different things have kept me from doing that within the group. I feel that the group is intimate, a little bit different. I feel that when everybody does post, or there's, some kind of a video or something from you as well, Donato, that I resonate with everybody. And it really is help me keep focused. I really appreciate it. Big time.
Okay, Jody, go ahead.
Through the commitment that I have made to this group and the commitments with the other group members, I'm not sure if I would have made some of the personal revelations that I've made. I told myself I was going to get to the bottom of some of my long-rooted issues, and that's exactly what I've started doing because of this group.
Great. I'm so glad you guys have benefited from this group. Everything I've envisioned for you guys is coming. It's all happening. And in getting to watch it is incredible. It's an amazing thing.
We appreciate you for taking the leap of faith, because it took a lot of courage for you to put yourself out there and, start with the podcast, and then, just how you've all talked about how the steps that, walking in the parking lot and changing your food and everything. And it's just, if anybody's been listening to you for a length of time, it's amazing how over time you can really look back. And I think that's been helpful for us as well, to look back at our journey, even if it's only been since April or whenever we started, that, we can even look back that far and see how far we've come. So.
All right, so let's get started. I wanted to talk today about any things that are going on that you wish you could change or you wish you can have back. Something that changed the trajectory of things, and you regret it. Maybe you want it to change. Okay, so now a bunch of you guys that all had similar task-related things. Any of you guys want to start?
This is Anne Marie. For me, it has been my workouts, and the food is going well, and my workouts are just not consistent. Now, I do exercise, I walk, and I do different things, but not consistency, like a plan. So I keep telling myself, well, I'm trying, but trying is not doing. And so when I look at why I've been so successful with my eating, it's because I have a plan. So I plan what I'm going to eat. I know what I'm going to have for my meals. I plan ahead. But my workouts, I just go, well, I think I'll just do my Leslie Sansone, or I'll walk, or I'll do this. And, I'm giving it my best effort. It's not doing. And so that's where I notice that I've had most of my redo moments in my journal have all been, I wish I wouldn't have done this, instead of I wish I would have did that, exercise video. And so it was all mostly about exercise. I really just always think that, okay, I'm going to try to work out, do something every day. It's just like, okay, well, I walked. And like today at lunch, I've actually been trying to be consistent about at lunch. I have my own office. I close the door and I'll do like the Leslie Sandstone video. So I do that, but it's not, I don't feel like it's enough. Like I want to take it to the next level. So I am, hitting some physical activity, but I really want to take it to the next level.
I feel that you closing your office door and doing a workout is huge. I feel that that's huge because most people, I work in a corporate office, I don't see anyone doing that. And I feel that you should definitely applaud yourself for that. But it seems like, and I don't know, Donata, if you feel this way, I feel like you're maybe kind of bored with the walking and you want to do something a little more exciting and kind of whether it's, you know, weight training or trying a different class or something, maybe to get your mindset more excited about what you're doing. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm not sure if anyone else is in the room.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
I was going to say CrossFit.com is a good resource because the workouts are free there. So since you just invested in your equipment, they not only give you the workouts, but they also give you, let's say you can't squat completely. They give you like 2 or 3 other things that you can do. And then you're constantly improving. So that's one suggestion. Another is if you have a friend who's a trainer, who's kind of like a trainer, like they've been doing that for a while. I call those people frainers, a friend who's a trainer. I bet you they'll come to your house and they'll show you a couple of things just to kind of get you started. So I would try those 2 things since being at home with your equipment is what you prefer. CrossFit.com or find a trainer, you know, just to kind of watch you and give you some feedback.
Actually, that's a great idea. Thank you. Because I do know someone and she used to be the trainer at the gym I went to and they closed down during COVID and they never reopened. But I'm going to contact her. Thank you. It's a great idea.
So our next step is to contact the friend. I think that's great. That's a great idea.
It is a great idea. Anybody else want to talk about? Loretta, go ahead.
Okay. I feel like mine is just confusing, like with like so many things to do on my to-do list, like overwhelmed. Even though I know that I know that I know there's nothing more important than my health, it feels great when I'm like, okay, I said what I was going to do. I did what I said I was going to do, you know, yay for me. But I will say, Donato, you were in the back of my head. You don't have to be perfect here. You don't have to be perfect. And I think the good news is I'm back. I didn't really go anywhere, right? I just said, okay, I've got to gain some sanity because I was driving myself crazy with the things that I needed to get done. I think it's true that, you know, your endorphins, when you want to go for a walk, it helps. But that's the first thing that you let go. So it's a lesson learned. Maybe I need to be in the consistency group too, right? So I'm not sure if there's anything wrong with what I've done or if I just need to get better at something. Yeah.
I think we can all relate to this, that we tend to let go of the things that are good for us, you know, in regards to our health. It's like, oh, I'm going to delay my workouts. I'm going to delay my tracking. I'm going to delay my mindset. I have to do this. I have a party to go to. There's a barbecue here. And it's also, there's so many things we could touch in regards to this. You know, it's the fear of missing out. If there's a party or a fest this summer, right? Or it's I have to work long hours and it's not selfish to put ourselves first. And a lot of times we feel that, you know, especially usually women feel this way, you know, we have to take care of everyone and do all these tasks and keep everyone together. And we tend to put ourselves on the back burner. And you know, you said that, you know, you're back at it. And I want you to think about how can you continue to be back at it, you know, to continue your journey, because we tend to, you know, slip and then it becomes a slide and then, you know, we're back here again. And so I want you to, you know, think about that. How can I continue doing this every day? You know, take it day by day, week by week, whatever works best for you. But I'm happy that you're back at it. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I think my new slogan is I'm keeping at it. I'm just going to keep at it.
There you go. I like that. I like that.
Go ahead, Taffy.
I was just going to say that for me anyway, that my month has been very chaotic life-wise. My husband had a heart attack over Memorial Day weekend. One of my best friends died yesterday of pancreatic cancer after 2 weeks of diagnosis. She was fine. Just didn't feel good, went to the hospital, and they thought she had lung cancer, and she passed away yesterday from pancreatic cancer. My son-in-law got bit by a cat, which we thought was no big deal, ended up in the hospital for 10 days because he got sepsis from that. So then the reason I'm saying all this is because if I would not have been in the state of mind that I was before this month happened and leading up to all this, I think I would have had a horrible time coping. I stayed focused. I am pushing through. I'll probably fall apart next week, but not with my goals. If nothing else, this just totally reinforced for me the reason why we need to do this. It was like, oh my God, my why has got to be that I take care of myself first in order to handle things like this with life that come up. We're always going to have things that come up, hopefully not this chaotic. But I got to tell you, this made all the difference in the world for me. I stayed focused. I was there. I'm there for everybody. And I'm taking time for myself, making sure I get my sleep. I had a doctor's appointment. My blood tests were all good. So, I can't stress enough. And I look at exercising and things like that. And I get it, Anne Marie. I'm like the same as you. I walk and I'm thinking, this isn't good enough. I need something structured because I want to see results. That's what I'm looking for. But I'm in a different place right now, and I'm just very, very happy with where I am within my own goals. And that whole being in control that we've talked about, or having a plan, is a game changer for everything that we deal with in life. It's a game changer. So that's where I'm at.
I wanted to give you my condolences, Taffy. That's a lot to take on
Yeah.
all at once, and very emotional at the same time. And you touched on, being focused and on your journey now, I'm assuming it's in regards to your mindset, and being on this health and wellness journey helped you, when tough times arise. And we have to remember that when, we're okay here, we are able to help others, when things like this happen. So I'm so sorry that this
Mhm.
happened. And we're here for you if you need anything at all to lean on, especially.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jody.
So the last time we had met, I was one of the ones feeling very overwhelmed by everything. And I actually found something to help with that. There's this free app I found called Tody, Tody, completely free. And it's a house cleaning app, but you can create custom tasks that need to be done, whatever it is, and in whatever room it is, whether it's outside, kitchen, bedroom, whatever. So that way, when I'm looking at it, I'm seeing, okay, this is what needs to be done here. And that way I can look at it and see every single thing that needs to be done, and not go to another room and jump around back and forth and then nothing get done. And it also turns it into a little competition, because it's the little dust monster. And if he wins, then, you don't want that. But that has been really helpful for me these past 4 weeks. Lately, though, I have been struggling with my sleep. And that has caused me to take a lot more naps than I'm used to. I thought at first, it may be a sign that maybe my hormones are getting out of whack again, but it wasn't that. I was just letting too many distractions get to me. Then that turned into, well, since my neighbors are going to be up anyway, I might as well read. Even if the neighbors weren't playing loud music, I was reading. So I was contributing to my lack of sleep as well. And that is definitely messing with getting the early morning tasks done, because by the time I do get around and actually get up, I feel like half the day is already gone. And then I've got in my head, I feel like, well, that means since I missed my morning walk, I've got to go double time now and just to catch up on the steps that I missed. And then that makes me even more tired because it's such an intense workout by the time I'm done. And so that's got to change.
Sleep affects so much on our journey, our mindset, our snacking, our workouts. We don't want to work out. And then you're doing a double workout, which is, it's almost as if you're punishing yourself, right? Because you didn't get the first workout in. That was actually a topic we just talked about. And I know it's so difficult, especially when it has to do with your neighbors. So I know that is so hard, and you can't control that. And I know in the workshop we tried to come up with ideas to help you. I don't know if any of them helped you at all. I'm assuming not. No. Okay.
No. Yeah, I did actually go and talk to them and be like, hey, so your music's getting to where I can actually make out the words when I'm in my bedroom. And I'm like, that's got to stop. But all they did was turn the bass up louder and the words down. So.
Okay, so that didn't work. Well, I definitely don't want you punishing yourself like, hey, I have to work out harder, because you're exhausted, right? I'm assuming you're exhausted, and that's not helping you either, you know, on this journey. So the sleep, we could definitely keep working on that, and hopefully we can figure out a way for Jody to get some sleep, and maybe anyone else in the room, if you have any idea to help Jody out. It's definitely difficult when you have no control of what's happening.
Have you thought of the earplugs?
I have, but since it's just me and my son here, I don't want to completely block out noise. I've got to hear at least something of what's going on.
Go ahead, Jane. Anne Marie, you had your hand up.
Yes, this doesn't have to do so much with your neighbors, but I was having trouble sleeping, and I started taking magnesium supplements, and it is really changed it. It relaxes you, and it has helped me get a good night's sleep.
Jackie, you had also an issue related to journey tasks. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Not really so much an issue, but more like feelings of regret, because it's been like, it took me like 2 months since we started doing this redemption group to get my act together and actually do some work and get this going. And so now I feel like I am so positively on track. I've got my goals in order. I'm not pushing myself. I'm taking things one section at a time, like you always talk about. Don't go for the whole mile, go for just around the parking lot, that sort of thing. So I'm on track with all that. But what I keep getting now is like I could kick myself. It's like, why did it take me so long to get my act together? And it's just, I just feel like I'm mad at myself, and I have regrets for I could have been in a better place by now. And I just want to let those feelings go. So that's my little mind block that I have going on right now.
The one thing that comes to my mind is, because I kind of went through the same thing, and it's almost like you have to forgive yourself. I mean, how do you do that, right? How do you sit there and forgive yourself? the one way I could say you can do it is, I mean, I didn't do it this way, but I had done, because I mean, I had issues. Me and my father, we didn't really have a great relationship. And me as an adult, he died when I'm 17 years old. I'm 46, right? So it ended up being that I had to write him a letter. He's dead how many years, but I had to write him a letter in order to kind of break that, right? And I'm not telling you, I mean, still to this day, I have issue. Like, let there be a father-son moment in a movie, I'll lose it. I'll completely lose it. It could be a comedy, but let there be like a real sentimental moment between a father and a son, and I'll completely lose it. So the problem still exists now, but I started to let go by writing that letter. And maybe that's something that helps you. Write a letter to yourself. Write a letter to your former self, because you're a new woman now, right? You're no longer that person anymore. So write a letter to who you used to be, and maybe the feelings on the paper will be enough to say, I forgive you, kind of a thing. That's just my intake.
That sounds good. I'm going to give that a try, because I feel I'm very positive right now. Everything's going well, and although I know maybe at a moment's notice things could just slip right back to where it was, but I want to feel good about myself, because I'm feeling positive. So yeah, that's a good suggestion. I will definitely try that.
Regret it's a negative emotion, and it can have both physical and emotional effects on us, and that's something to keep in mind. And the letter writing is something that I had to do to my dad. He gave me this fear of flying, and my best friend's father, his name's Rocco, he passed away, and he was a therapist, and he told me this. He's like, write a letter to your dad and just kind of get this all out, and you'd be amazed how much you can get out with a pen and paper. And I think you should take Donato's advice and give it a try.
I think I will. I'm going to put it in my journal, so there it'll be written out.
This has nothing to do with what you just talked about, but in the last episode, you had talked about a little bit struggling with having snacks and stuff in the evening, and then we kind of like brainstormed a plan for you, kind of a thing at that episode. How do you feel like you're doing now?
I'm doing so much better. I took your advice and eating real food instead of those stupid 2-point snacks that you grab. It's like, I don't want this. I'm going to eat this apple, and maybe I'll put a little peanut butter on it. And that's like, a good combination of protein and nice fruit. And it was very satisfying to have the crunch and everything. And then the other thing I did was I just got my butt out the door. It's like, walk away from the food, when it really got hard, and I just went out the door and started walking. And it's so weird when you go and you do that, even if it's just a 15-minute walk. I came back in and I'm not hungry anymore. I don't want the snack anymore. It just sort of canceled that whole craving of, that sort of food. It just canceled it. I don't know how it works, but it works. But yeah, the real food was the trigger for me, that you gave me that suggestion.
I'm happy it helped. Kathy, you had mentioned drinking leading to snacking. You want to talk about that?
Sure. So I think I mentioned that I was feeling overwhelmed, and somehow the overwhelm led to shopping and procrastination. And then I noticed there was a little bit of a tendency to just wanting to escape. And the mind, said, oh, why don't you just have a glass of wine to relax at the end of the day? Which, if I would sit out here in the common area of the house and have a glass of wine, I didn't need to face the task of taking care of all the things that needed to be done in my room and put away all the things from the move. I would just start to just sit here and have a glass of wine, and then a glass of wine would lead to, oh, why don't you have a glass of wine and X? That could be a glass of wine with Doritos, Cheetos, whatever. And then the glass of wine would go to the room, and then next thing you know, you wake up. I would wake up. I don't want to say you. I'm going to keep it up about me. I would wake up with a glass of wine on the side of the nightstand, and in the bed would be the evidence of some empty bags of Doritos or Cheetos or what have you. I was like, what in the Rice Krispie Cocoa Puffs is happening here? And it was all my need to escape responsibility of doing the things I needed to do to take care of myself. And I kid you not, Donato, it was all about procrastination. Instead of just going into my bedroom and emptying one crate, I had 15 crates of unemptied stuff that either I needed to give away, donate, or put away. And I didn't want to face it. I just didn't want to do it. And I'm happy to report today all 15 crates have been unloaded, put away, given away, or donated. There's not a single crate in my bedroom that I need to do anything with. I'm completely moved in and I feel so much better. And that whole situation with having the drink of wine or what have you to escape my responsibilities it's eliminated. It was just a go-to to avoid responsibilities.
That's awesome. That's great. Can anyone relate to what Kathy talked about? You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I think procrastination, you're so right. Well, hey, I think I'll just peel an orange and sit here and eat an orange because, that would give me the extra energy. And then, well, while I'm done with the orange, maybe I'll get some peanut butter crackers out. And, that'll give me what I need for this job. And yeah, definitely. And,
I think,
my snacks always would start out pretty nice, but then they would just deteriorate, the longer I procrastinated.
And I think I grew up knowing that there was somehow this realization that I couldn't do something until I finished eating. So I grew up knowing that, okay, when you get done eating, you need to do A, B, and C. Well, that gave me the cause to realize that if I never get done eating, I don't need to do anything because I'm still eating.
Right.
I'm not done. No, I'm not done. And then when you put in an adult beverage or two or three, the feast never finishes. It just continues. And there's nothing worse than waking up the next morning going, what in the Rice Krispie Cocoa Puffs happened here? Who had 2 bags of Doritos? Who was that girl? That ain't the same girl. We are not the same people. So I am happy to say that isn't happening anymore. It happened before, but it's not happening now. She's left the building and she's no longer here. And I put away all my things. And it was just really a true realization of how procrastination shows up and affects my journey. If I'm truly procrastinating because I don't want to make a decision about stuff, and I started listening to the Minimalist podcast and the realization that more stuff is not a better life. Less is more. Less is truly more. I don't need 2 Keurig machines. I don't need all the things that I thought I needed. I just don't. And I'm happier. And then with my job, I'm grateful and I'm humbled by the job that I took in the interim of figuring out what I want to do when I become an adult of 59 years of age plus. And I found a new job. And I'm happy to say that, life has twists and turns, and, the God above sees all, knows all. He knows what's best for me, and he's in control, not me, even though I think I am. And I'm gonna be okay. And there is not a hamburger, cheeseburger, or a McDonald's French fries and stuff that's gonna fix anything.
That's
Just
great.
relax.
That's so great.
Just relax. It's all good.
Jane, you had something to say?
I just wanted to commend her for figuring it out. I think that's the biggest part or takeaway from all this is that we figure out what it is, whatever it is. If it's working out, if it's, figuring out a strength training or overeating in bed at night. And I know for me, when I figure something out like that, I'm like, woohoo. And it's freeing, I guess. So
Yes, it is.
congratulations.
Very much so. Cheryl, you had talked about falling off the wagon. You want to elaborate?
Yeah, I think one of my things is the all or nothing thinking, and like exaggerating things in my head. For like example, like I said, I gained 7 pounds in 1 month. I really gained 2 pounds in 1 month. I was already up 5 pounds. So I'm up 7 pounds from my goal weight now, because I gained 2 more pounds this month. So it's like I'm actually exaggerating in my head, and I didn't even realize I was doing it until I started listening to all of you talk. And if the 97%, if you do it into hours instead of days, probably 97% of the time I'm doing good with my eating. When I do have a problem, there's like a 2 hour period of time when I'm working from like 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. I'm working 12-hour shifts, and I just can't wait to get home and get out of that place. And those 2 hours, I tend to start grabbing at the snacks. I'm a nurse, so everybody wants to thank us with food, and I can't. Those 3 days a week that I'm working, I have a hard time those couple hours staying away from the snacks.
Is it just that they're there, or you actually are hungry at that time?
I'm not hungry at all. It's like boredom eating, not boredom eating because I'm busy. It's almost like habit, or I feel like I'm missing out on something. And then if I eat something with sugar in it, I can't stop myself anymore. I mean, and I know that sounds crazy, but I'll eat 1 graham cracker, and that 1 graham cracker turns into 10 packs of graham crackers plus 2 of the little cups of ice cream, and it just goes on and on and on, and I can't stop anymore.
It's definitely not crazy. When you start adding sugar back into your diet, you're craving for more. You're definitely craving for more. This happened to me yesterday. We were celebrating my husband for Father's Day. I've been cutting out sugar. I haven't been eating it. I had it yesterday, and you physically feel ill the next day. I don't know if anyone feels this way today, but it's all day today. I was dragging, I was sleeping, and sugar is not good for our body. So once you start putting that in, um, have you been able to walk away from these snacks at work? I know it's hard for nurses and doctors. I have a lot of teachers in my workshops as well, and we all tend to want to thank all of you with food, and it's definitely not, the healthiest of foods. Have you ever been able to walk away from these foods in the past?
For the last year and a half, yeah. I mean, I started Weight Watchers 2.5 years ago. I got down to my goal weight. And now I'm like 7 pounds above my goal weight. And I literally, if I don't, like I could walk away and not, if I don't eat it. And for the last 2.5 years, I just didn't even touch it. I treated it like it was poison. And if I treat it like it's poison and don't touch it, yeah, I can walk away from it. Very easy. And people at work will be like, "You're so strong," talking about me, but they don't realize I'm weaker than them because they can eat like one. I can't.
You had
And
mentioned missing out before. What if if you reframe the thinking of that, instead of saying it as I'm missing out, what if you said, I get to have the life that these people will never understand because I'm choosing not to have this right now. Right? So like there's a guy, Dave Ramsey, and he's a financial guy, and his motto is kind of like live like no one else so that you can live like no one else. And which it means is like don't spend any money, and because everybody's spending money, and then one day you'll be living like a life that everybody wishes they can have because you didn't spend money now, right? So the same idea, instead of saying I'm missing out on this thing that somebody brought in, say they're missing out on the life I'm gonna have.
Very good idea. That's what I'll try this month.
I mean, even if you have to tell the food that, like, I am, people might think I'm crazy, but I actually used to talk to the food when I had situations like that, when I worked in an office and someone decided to bring bagels in. And I mean, I could say no to cake like it's easy. But if somebody brought in everything bagels with veggie cream cheese, man, is that hard to say no to. That was like my favorite thing in the world. But yeah, you know, and it's like you sometimes you just got to talk to the devil and tell him where to go, right? And even if if he's in the form of a bagel, a piece of cake, or a cookie, whatever it is, but you have to talk to him and tell him where to go. And that's just the thought that comes to my mind. Anybody else have anything they want to add?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I had something I wanted to add, Cheryl. You mentioned the sugar being like poison, and I believe that's true. I think that's accurate, and I think a lot of us have experienced that when I eat that processed sugar, it does things to my body that I would say it is like poison. And I think if we look at it that way and say it is doing no good to our bodies, it's not nourishing us, it's not giving us energy, it's, you know, not building our cells, all those things, and that it I would say it's not even really food. And that helps me a lot when I look at that stuff and I say, no, that is really, really going to hurt me. And that's, you know, a similar thing that I brought up this month was I was at a family thing and I started eating all that junk and felt all the effects of it and realized, you know, this is not enjoyment. This is not celebration. This is poisoning my body.
Cynthia, you had mentioned something about nighttime snacking with low energy. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I realized that I don't have a plan for my night routine, and my morning is meticulously planned and it works. My night, not so much. So your suggestion to up the protein worked, but then there was no plan outside of that. So what I'm implementing now is just a tighter night routine where I exit the kitchen, come what may, and then I do all the things in other rooms, upstairs, like far away from the kitchen. So that's what I realized. And also I listened to you speak about not only the cycle of how that worked for me, but what happens before the stressful situation happens, you know? So I've been thinking about that as well. I was doing really well with the nighttime, and then my car had some problems. So I got home and guess what I did? And then I told myself, oh, it's just fruits, not that big of a deal. And then like it's been just a challenge. So realizing that I don't have a plan and that I do better with a plan, I think that's going to be my next step towards success.
Anybody have anything to add or can relate to it? Or when I read that I should make my plate heavy in protein, I took it to an extreme. I don't know I know you said you added protein, maybe go even higher. I don't know. I mean, that's up to you if you want to try it. When I did it, I was a lot heavier and had a lot more weight to lose. And I did as much as, I mean, there were times where I had almost a pound of meat in my plate, right? And I didn't hesitate. I ate all of the meat first. And still to this day, there's days where there might be 14 ounces of whatever the meat is, so pork or steak, whatever it is. Also, I realized that it gets even more improved if I choose, and this is going to sound totally sacrilegious, but if I choose a meat that has a higher fat content, I can't even tell you how satisfied I remain. It's insane to think, because we've been so programmed, oh, I got to eat lean meat. I got to eat lean meat. But the fat has been demonized, but yet there's nutrients in it and it keeps you satisfied. I'll tell you what, if I eat a piece of grilled chicken and a piece of ribeye, they could be the exact same size, but when I eat the ribeye, I am satisfied longer than when I eat the grilled chicken. And maybe that sounds crazy, but it's the truth.
I believe it.
So maybe it's not just about the protein, maybe it's about changing what kind of protein too. I mean, maybe an idea of choosing something with a little more fat content just to see how you do. You know, and maybe you say, oh, okay, I'll do it this way for a week and just to see how it ends up being, and you set up a time period for it. Jane, you have something to say?
Yeah, so kind of on the same thing, only slightly different. So my struggle has been the scale. And so now that I'm not eating processed foods and I'm not having sugar, I can overeat protein easily. First of all, I love meat. And nuts, because I can have the fat. So it's the fat and cheese and all that stuff. But so when I go to think about getting on the scale, because I feel like I've overeaten in those areas, because I'm not really weighing or measuring, I'm just going by how I'm satisfied and I'm losing weight. I'm finally almost to the point where it's not affecting me, where in the beginning it was like, oh God, I don't want to get on the scale because I know I gained, and then the scale would be down. I'm like, how did that happen? But and I don't know how it happened other than it's happening. And I'm going to give up questioning it and just go by how I feel. But I don't have the sugar. I don't have the cravings. I finally have gotten on long enough with this that I don't have the sugar cravings or the carb cravings, and I can feel that. So I feel lighter in my movements and stuff, you know, just in my pickleball game. I never would have thought that this would be happening. So I just feel like, again, it's baby steps. And so this has been my big hurdle this last month, is just not letting the scale, because for years, if it went up a quarter or a point or whatever, it was just like, oh, you blew it, you know, and that mindset of craziness would set in. So I don't know if I'm not having the craziness because of the non-sugar and the carb. I don't know, but it's a neat feeling, and I'm not afraid to overeat meat. Let me just say that.
What I heard you just say is you eliminated sugar, you have no more cravings, you're eating protein, and you're afraid to step on the scale, but then you step on the scale and you lose. Did I just hear that right?
Yeah. Yep. You did. How amazing.
So even though, in spite of everything you've done, then you get the result you want, and on top of it at the end.
Right.
So what, is the scale lying to you now?
Exactly. It's like, does it need a new battery? No, you change the battery. Does it need to be moved on the floor? I mean, all that mind crack. That's what I call mind crack. It's just like, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it's that fear. And you know, you think you're heavier, you imagine you're heavier. You look in the mirror, you think you're heavier, and then you get on the scale and you're not. It's just like, okay, well, it's just crazy. I'm feeling really good. I don't have the cravings like I used to have. You know, I eat 3 meals. I don't have the snacks in between. And that's just for me personally. That's just what's working for me. When I first started, that wasn't so, but it's been about 2.5 months. It's finally coming.
I don't know about anybody else, but I'm going to say keep doing it.
Oh yeah, I am.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Anyone
it's a good
else?
feeling, and it's been years.
Right. Anyone else have anything they want to say?
I think she should celebrate this.
I know.
You
right?
should
Oh, yeah.
celebrate this. You know, giving up sugar is not easy. It's definitely
Right.
not easy, and you don't have these cravings. And you know, we talk about this a lot in the workshops, is how we speak to ourselves. And you know, you're losing on this, the scale's going down, and we don't believe
You know,
it.
like
But when it goes up, we do
yeah,
believe it.
I had my birthday, and I turned 70, and someone in this group is 72. We have the same birthday. Well, I don't know if they're 70, but we have the same birthday. I can't remember who it was.
It's Taffy.
June 2nd.
Taffy.
Okay, cool. Happy birthday, Taffy. Anyway, you know, I'm with every family and the gals, and so I ordered a martini, just straight Tito's vodka. And I thought, okay, and I was scared kind of because like I said, I wasn't doing any alcohol, none of that. that. And I think I did have a piece of garlic bread, and I had a bite of dessert. So that's the only sugar I've really had. But, I was terrified that, the scale was going to reflect a 5-pound gain, or, that I gained all the weight back, and I've lost 8.2 so far. I'm getting over those hurdles of, being able to enjoy things like that and not panic or think it's never going to come off, because for years I never thought it would come off.
You're doing great, Jane. Anybody else have anything to add? All right. And I think last but not least, we got Phyllis. Phyllis, you had mentioned compromised food choices at events.
The big one was Memorial Day weekend, which, had plans, and then somebody came with those cookies that I really, really hadn't had in a long time, and made that compromise. And as a couple other people mentioned this evening, once I had them, that kind of started that I want more. And okay, I ate some of those cookies, and now there's a campfire. We're going to have s'mores, and I'll have a little bit of that. And that was the event that I regretted, that I wish I could go back and change. And then the second part of that was, what can I do going forward? And there are always opportunities. Be always
Right,
be
you
more
got one
opportunities.
coming in 2 weeks.
Yep. And my grandson's there's a graduation party. I'll be helping to cook for that. I'll be helping to prepare. I'll be helping to serve for that. And I've already thought about this. I'm going to go in with a plan of what dessert I can have and how much I can have. Again, just focusing on the celebration, the day, the very special time. And I do not want to come home from that event feeling like I did coming home from the Memorial Day event, where I felt, Sophie mentioned, other people mentioned, feeling sick, feeling lethargic, feeling just kind of like that sugar hangover. I'm not going to do that for my grandson's graduation party. Going with that, and even thinking I'm pretty sure I'm going to pack my own salad, because I'm not sure there will be salad there, looking at the menu, and I think I'm going to pack that. And I know they're making hamburgers and hot dogs. I'll take a couple of my Hebrew National hot dogs and just say, hey, I want, go throw these on the grill, and these are the ones I want. So I don't know if anybody else has suggestions for handling these kinds of events.
I would say this, because your focus, look, this is what I don't like about what you said about Memorial Day. You felt like you failed the day because you compromised in the moment with, what was it, a cookie you said? Right?
Yeah, more than one.
Right.
I mean, that was one.
This is how I've always approached any special day, right? There are 7 days in a week. If you can execute the other 6 the way you want, the way you had planned it, the 7th day won't matter, right? And so we concentrate so hard on the day, on the event, but my thinking has always been, if the other 6 days, if you nail it, if you really just say, oh man, I did that, and I couldn't do it any better if I tried, right? If you could say that about the other 6, the 7th day won't matter. And you got a couple. So you said it was a graduation coming up, and you also got 4th of July. So you got a couple of things, and then you got Labor Day after that, and what if there's something else in between. So you can try this theory out if you want. It's up to you. Where, I mean, I just don't want you go in there, feel like, and then you're presented with something you didn't expect there, and you're like, oh, I really want to have one, and then it feels like a failure, because that's worse than you having it, is that feeling like a failure for having it, right? But if you nail the other 6 days in the week, have the cookie, man. It's not going to be the big deal. And what you do before and after the event is more important than the event. That's my belief. Anybody else?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's definitely spot on. I say that in my workshops a lot, that the one overindulgence doesn't take away from all of your hard work all week. And that's something to keep in mind, and what's your next move after the graduation party? You know, what's your next move, and what are you going to do next? And we tend to beat ourselves up a lot when we have these moments, that we take it to the next meal and the next meal and the next meal, and that's definitely the mindset piece on this journey. But yeah, just like Donato said, if you haven't had that cookie in a long time and you want it, it's okay, and it's definitely okay to do it. But think about, you know, your next move when you get home.
The other thing that I would say is, because I just went through this too, also with a graduation, and there were so many people there that I haven't seen for a long time. And so that celebration is more than food. You know, it's also socializing and being with friends and family. And so mingle, you know, get up and walk around and talk to everybody, and because it's a celebration.
Mhm.
As we come to the end of part 3 of the Redemption series, as we finish up 3 months of work, I want you to take a moment right now and think of everything that has happened over the past 3 months. And I want you to come up with one thing that you are proud of. So I'm going to give you a few seconds here to contemplate, to think about it.
I am proud of my determination to stick and stay. No matter what life throws my way, I am not giving up. I am not going to cave and give up on myself.
I'm proud of my strength and perseverance.
I'm very proud of completing my first Murph challenge this year at the gym. And the strength I had to complete that challenge came because I'm taking this group seriously. So I'm very proud of that.
I'm most proud that I keep coming back.
I am proud of the fact that I stopped procrastinating and I got to walk in every single day.
I'm proud that I stuck with it.
I am proud of my willingness to learn new things, and proud that I've been pushing myself to try new things.
I'm excited that I've seen the scale go down, but I'm proud that I'm thinking about whole foods and what's best for me and my body, not just the scale. So
I'm proud that since starting in this redemption group, I've met my goal for physical activity, I think, every single week. And I've noticed that, well, since Memorial Day, I've been going to our community pool, and I'm increasing how much I can swim. And it hit me just in this last few days. I am not ashamed and embarrassed of how I look in my swimming suit. I'm proud that I have a strong, healthy body, and I can get in that pool and swim with all the rest of them.
I'm just so proud that I was able to stay focused on my journey during this rough time.
I am so proud of myself for putting myself first again on my weight and wellness journey. I'm also proud that I've taken the time to research and study certain foods that are good for me, and, you know, what to walk away from.
You know, when I take a look back at the last 3 months, I am most proud of all of you. When I first started this group, I didn't think anyone would join. And then when people joined, I thought, well, how many of them will actually participate? I am most proud of all of you. You have done everything that we have asked. And you have gone above and beyond for each other. You have really stuck together and supported each other in the group. I think it's amazing what anyone can accomplish when they decide to participate. That word participate, it means so much because you can be present and not be present. You could be in the room and be somewhere else on the planet. In the world we live in, it's not hard to understand that. But you guys all recognized that if there was a time that you had the opportunity, it was now. And you also recognize that what you get from this is going to be directly related to what you put into it. If you put nothing, you get nothing. If you put everything, you get everything. I am so proud of all of you. I can't wait to see what comes from your journeys. I can't wait to see who you all inspire, who your audience is, because that's what comes next. I love each and every one of you. You guys are the best. I love you all. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.